Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Good morning.
Hi, Jenny.
Hey, good morning.
I want it known publicly, I have never, ever refused to bump fists with you before the show starts.
Yeah, you did.
Not one time ever. I always do it because I observe.
Begrudgingly you do it, especially on a Monday when you have low energy.
Maybe last Monday it was begrudging.
And the Monday
Maybe
before.
Maybe a little. Not a lot.
So this is the moment. This is it. Okay, we did it. It's out of the way. We have plenty to get to this morning. Is a huge contract actually a bad thing for Dak Prescott? And which QB would you take if you had one game to win?
We're going
to get there.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
That's important, but we have some developments, guys, with Richard Sherman and Baker Mayfield. After the 49ers' 31-3 win on Sunday, Sherman claimed that Baker refused to shake hands pregame and called it Bush League. Yesterday, video was released that shows that Baker did shake hands with Sherman before the coin toss, but did run away following the toss, avoiding a second handshake. Okay, we got the video. Shannon, do you feel differently after seeing this?
I do. And Skip, I owe Baker an apology because based on the information that I had yesterday and some of the quotes and the way Sherm had Sherm is also right but I owe him an apology because I thought that he refused even at the beginning to shake.
That's how it came across.
That's how it came across, to shake Richard Sherman's hand.
Yep.
And it didn't happen that way. Skip, allow me to take the people inside to how the coin toss work. Skip, you're the home team, I'm the visitors. We walk to the center of the field. We shake hands. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? The referee will say, okay, guys, turn around. You'll put your back to an end zone. I'll put my back to the end zone. Since I'm the visitor, the official will say, okay, this is head, this is tail. You'll call it. Call it in the air. I call heads. Heads it is. You want the ball, you want to defer. I'll defer. Which goal do you want to defend? Okay. Hey, bro, I get out there after the game. Boom, 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 boom. We gone. Okay. But Skip.
Would you do boom, 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 boom a second time?
Skip, it depends. Now, if I had lost the coin toss and they said, well, they're kicking the ball off, that means I'm going to get the ball. Now, a lot of times I didn't bring my helmet out there. I got to go find my helmet. I got to go get ready. No. Hey, bro, I get it, y'all. I'm gone. That's how I would have done it. So I'm not holding Baker feet to the fire on that situation.
Yep.
Once he did it the first time, I'm cool with it. But let me tell you what happened. What's at the crux of this, Skip? Richard Sherman believes that Baker Mayfield has been disrespectful not only to the league, but to some of the players in the league. And you can see by that handshake, he really doesn't care for Baker. Baker can sense that Sherman does not like him. So Baker makes no effort to because everybody else, they dap, they hug, hey, bro, tap each other on the back.
He hugged Kittle.
That's a good point.
Everybody else, shake hands, tap each other on the back. Richard Sherman shakes his hand, Baker sticks his hand out. Okay, Sherman, there's no love. Sherman doesn't like him for some of his behavior. Baker senses, man, this dude don't like me. Well, okay, ain't no sense in me being fake. Ain't no sense in me trying to show love back. I don't like him. Hey, but I am going to do what we're supposed to do out here. Protocol, shake hands, we're going to keep it moving. I think that's the gist of it right there. And Sherman didn't lie because at the end, the second time around, Baker did peel and run. But I'm not going to hold that against him, Skip. Sometimes guys do that, especially if you're going to receive the ball, because my helmet was back out, so now I got to go.
Who won the coin toss? The Browns. So Baker was about to be on offense. Baker did not have his helmet, so he had to bolt. And plus, you got to get ready to what's the play call? What are we going to do?
Maybe not so much that, Skip. He might have wanted to get 2 or 3 last-minute throws to get his arm loose. So, therefore, that's why. But I owe him an apology, Skip, because the way it came across yesterday.
Well, that's what he flat out said.
He didn't shake. I thought at the beginning, because I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. You mean to tell me you walk to the middle of the field at the beginning and you don't shake a guy's hand?
Yeah.
Now, that's some BS there. But that's not how it happened. I believe this is the way it played out, Skip, because after we see the video, we see that he did shake Sherman's hand at the beginning. He didn't do it at the tail end. But there's 2 times, normally at the beginning, and once you win, whoever wins the coin toss, especially if you know somebody, Skip, if you know the guy, hey, bro, I'm going to holler at you at the end of the game. Good luck, stay healthy, boom, you go on and do it like that. So I owe Baker an apology, but this comes down to as simple as this, Skip. Sherman felt Baker Mayfield has been very disrespectful to some of the procedures of how the NFL operate. He has not paid its proper respect. Baker sensed that Sherman did not like him. His body language, Skip, if you see Baker didn't move once, he stuck his hand out. It wasn't no, I'm going to pat you, shake your hand and pat you on the back, because a lot of times, dog, you shake, hey, bro, what's up? You know, you Skip,
a little bit more.
You saw, you covered this game too long. You know how guys are out there. So I believe that is what took place.
Okay. So it is big of you to apologize. You were showing a lot more class than Richard showed after the game, in my estimation, because the only quote we had to go off yesterday, we were sort of a prisoner of this quote, of that moment, was Richard's quote to Michael Silver saying, what's amazing and annoying was him not shaking hands at the beginning. So that's what we knew yesterday, was just that quote. And I immediately told you, man, it's just hard for me to believe that Baker wouldn't even shake his hand. Because what set Baker off at Kansas 2 years ago was that the Jayhawks captains refused to shake his extended hand. And then he went off and eventually grabbed his crotch on the other sideline to signal them, that's what I think of you guys, right? And it was all about not shaking his hand. So then, wait a second, we'd have role reversal to the point that Baker would refuse to shake an extended hand from Richard Sherman. I just found that impossible to believe. But in this case, at the very best case, in the best case, Richard was exaggerating what happened because, yes, Baker did bolt. And I don't know, maybe you could, and by the way, as he bolted, Richard waved bye to him. So Richard was taking that personally. But I think Richard wanted, he wanted to latch on to something to condemn Baker before the game to motivate himself. And right away in the first series, he gets a pick. And then he's off to the races that night. And it continued into the pregame. But at very worst, he just flat out lied about Baker not shaking hands because he did shake his hand and he shook everybody's hands, some more, you know, with a little more than more emotion than others. But for me, Richard Sherman accused Baker Mayfield of Bush League behavior. And this is just me, but what Richard did after the game was Bush League because that's low. To try to impugn this man's league-wide reputation by saying he refused to shake my hand.
Especially, Skip, given some of the things that Baker has done, a lot of times people are not going to be willing to give Baker Mayfield the benefit of the doubt. And had we not been able to find and locate this video, we're going to have to take, probably more times than not, 85, 90% of the people are going to take Sherman's word over Baker Mayfield, considering how he's conducted himself through some of these occasions. But luckily, we were able to find the video and see. Now, Sherman, and I don't know, and Sherman's been at this a long time, Skip. Sometimes guys do, you know, like I said, if I know it, Skip, if I'm not getting the ball, I'm in no rush to get back to the sideline, Skip, because the defense is going to be up there. So I can, hey, dap the guys up again. Hey, bro, hey, I'm going to get at you at the end of the game, bro. So, hey, stay healthy, you know, hey, good luck. But if I got to run back, Skip, I got to get my helmet. A lot of times, Skip, I was even late getting to the middle of the field because I had to go through my routine. So I got a routine that I got to go through. So,
and I would think a quarterback would have at least as big a routine as you would have.
You know, a lot of times John was throwing captains. You know, the officials are calling them captains, and then John, okay, he's running onto the field. And a lot of quarterbacks do that, Skip. They're throwing to the very last minute until the officials say, "Captain, I need the captains." Then we head out.
So, what do I believe? My 2 cents from a distance was going on psychologically with Richard Sherman on Monday night. Remember, since 2016, he has slowly fallen out of the spotlight and out of relevance. 2016 was the last year Richard Sherman made a Pro Bowl, and that was his 4th Pro Bowl through his big Seattle Legion of Boom run. And then he tore his Achilles, and his grade as a cornerback on Pro Football Focus has dropped each of his last 5 full seasons.
Right.
This year, he has moved back up to 17th ranked cornerback through 5 games. Last year, he finished 50th. But the point was, Monday night, as he has faced his, so to speak, football mortality, I'm sure in the back of his mind at age 31, he's thought occasionally, man, is this it for me? Will I ever be a star cornerback again?
Right.
Will I ever be that guy in Seattle again? Right. And all of a sudden, on Monday Night Football, right out of the box, he picks off Baker Mayfield.
Right.
And they had a resounding win. And I think they opened some eyes nationally, and he knew it. Mm-hmm. And then he was talking to Lisa Salters on the sideline at the end of the game, and ESPN went to them because it was such a blowout, and he's going back and forth with Lisa, and she was making the point, you know, they had laughed between each other about, well, I've covered you all these games, you've never had an interception. And he finally had an interception with Lisa there. So he was really feeling himself post-game.
Right.
So he wanted the narrative to be, through Mike Silver of NFL.com, I taught this upstart, loudmouth quarterback a lesson. Mm-hmm. And to exaggerate the lesson, he needed to go to, he wouldn't shake my hand.
Right.
And again, that's a low blow to me.
Right.
But then he was so full of himself, he got up before the assembled media and he lectured the media and taunted the media if we could hear him go off after the game.
You want idiots to sound like idiots, but you want them to hold their position the whole year. Like, don't flip-flop with us. Like if you said we weren't going to make it, you said we were some way early on, just stick with that position. Hold it. Don't try to give us credit now. Don't try to give us credit now. Just stick. If you had us ranked 25, keep us ranked 25. If you had us going home early, if you had us going 3 and whatever, have us going 3 and whatever. You know what I mean? At least stick by your word, because I want you to sound like an idiot at the end.
Okay, maybe they all will sound like idiots, but let's see what happens. They got to play the Rams a couple times. They got to play the Seahawks a couple times. Mm-hmm. I don't know. They got to play Kyler a couple. You know, let's just see how it plays out.
Well,
could be right. They look really good.
Well, the thing is with athletes, and a lot of athletes have felt like Richard, feel like if they don't get the credit they deserve at the beginning.
Yep.
But Skip, as you get new information, the situation should change. Well, we think this team is not going to be very good, but all of a sudden they start playing. It's like, okay, this team is better than I thought. Maybe I need to reevaluate. I mean, there's no harm in that. Richard, the narrative still could have been, Skip, Richard's like, you know what? We played well because we felt we needed to teach a certain gentleman on the other side a lesson because we don't feel that he's paid the proper respect to this game and to those that played this game that came before him that will come after him. He thinks he's bigger than the game. He thinks he's a superstar, although he's accomplished nothing. And let that be a lesson to that young man. Doesn't even have to call his name. Everybody knows he's going to be talking about Skip. Let that be a cautionary tale. This game will humble you if you refuse to humble yourself. He didn't need to say the guy didn't shake his hand. Now, Skip, the guy didn't shake his hand the second time, but anybody that heard that would have assumed he meant the first time.
Yeah. Correct.
Because a lot of people don't know that there is a second handshake after the coin toss.
Exactly. So here's the greatest irony to Monday night to me. How did Richard Sherman put himself on the map initially in the National Football League? By doing a lot of the same things Baker Mayfield has done, which is be outrageously outspoken to the point of irreverent, having little respect for nobody who is superior to you. So when did we first hear of Richard Sherman? We have to go back to 2012. Seattle at Seattle upset the Patriots. Tom Brady did not have a great game that day. And what did Richard do after the game? He taunted Tom Brady on the field. Do you remember this?
Was he mad,
you
bro?
mad, bro?
Ooh.
Okay. And that was his coming out party. That was the first I really knew of Richard Sherman.
And the thing for me, Skip, I never liked that. Look, you can have your piece, but don't get in someone's face because the guy's already upset. Now, guy swing on you. Now you're going to be mad talking about, well, what? Come on now, bro. You won the game. You want to get in your locker room, you can say all you want to say, say that. But don't come in my face with that foolishness.
And then he started to go after Darrelle Revis via Twitter. And at that point, Revis 2012 was the preeminent corner, and most people
and that was a debate
that he. But again, I thought Revis was at least the second greatest corner ever to Deion. Right. Darrelle used to go at it with me good-naturedly about, no, I'm better than Deion. I don't think I'd go that far, but But still, one of the tweets I found this morning was back from Terrell before he even really knew who Richard was. And he said, this dude's steady putting my name in his mouth to get notoriety. Yep. That's exactly what's happening. Then he started going after Roddy White, who would fire back at him. And the more Roddy White fired back, the more it put Richard on the map.
Right.
And then I told you yesterday about the incident I had in 2013 in March with Richard, in which his people wanted him to come on our show on ESPN. It was actually at that point in the afternoon, a 30-minute show, just to talk off-season football. And his people made it clear he's been in some controversies with Brady and Revis and Roddy White. And
he wants to clear that up.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't want to do any controversy.
Okay.
He just wants to talk football. So I was completely blindsided because right out of the box, he's attacking me personally. And to this day, I have no idea what sparked it, except once again, I felt like, well, at least I'm in good company because he's attacking all these stars. So he wants to continue to put himself on the map.
Right.
And we asked him to come back on and do it on First Take in the 2-hour show, and we couldn't get him to come back on. And then we've asked him to be on this show multiple times, and he has not come on. You know him a little bit.
I know him a little bit, yes.
So maybe at some point he will come on and we could have discussions about all this because I would love to talk about all of the above with him.
Okay.
But the point was that he had a lot of Baker in him early, right? They're not exactly the same guy, but the MO, Baker's not trying to talk his way into notoriety. I think it's just the way he's built.
Right.
He just goes after any and everybody.
I think a lot of that has to do, Skip, there are certain positions that we think comes along with trash talking. You think the wide receivers are divas. We think corners trash talk. There are certain positions that you're like, okay, we accept that. But when you see a quarterback,
I agree.
A quarterback normally is CEO, very buttoned up. No matter what happens outside, he's the guy that's going to be calm. Everything's okay. Oh, how you doing? No matter what's been said. Think about it, Skip. No matter what's been said about Tom Brady, Tom always says, oh, that's a great team. They play hard. The coach has them. He's always going to be PC. He's always going to be politically correct. Even though he's seething inside, he understands you can be good at any game if you understand how to play the game. Understand the rules of the game. Right now, Baker doesn't really understand the rules of the game. He just wants to play on his terms. There are certain things, Skip, Tom Brady, look, coach, think about it. I think deep down, Tom doesn't have the greatest infatuation or love for Coach Belichick.
Yes.
But publicly, he says all these glowing things. I would have never been the quarterback. I would have never been the player that I have become had it not been for him. Saying bull jive. He became the coach. He became because of me. That's what he's saying to himself, Skip. But he's always going to say the right thing publicly. I don't believe any other quarterback would have handled the situation with Hugh Jackson the way Baker handled it. It's just not a good look for him.
I agree.
Especially if you're the quarterback.
Right.
Now, we expect a wide receiver or a DB to do crazy, outlandish things like that, but not the quarterback.
Yeah. Obviously, I love Baker. Jenny loves Baker. Neither of us liked the shot he took at Daniel Jones. It was just gratuitous. It was just off the cuff.
Unnecessary.
I think he thought it was off the record. They're just having conversation across the dinner table. Boom. He looks up at the monitor and sees on ESPN, the Giants took Daniel Jones. What are they thinking? Right? Okay. Bad look. Bad idea. And the shots he continues to take at Sam Ehlinger, who now has to play the
they've got a history, though. It goes back to high school days.
They got high school, but
But
it's like...
Sam Ehlinger didn't play against Baker, did he? Has Sam Ehlinger been in school that long?
No.
Because Baker, hold on, Baker was a red shirt. Okay, Baker's been in his second year in the league.
They have not played against
They could not have.
It's just the rival high schools. There's more
Austin
to it.
high school stuff. Okay.
It's high school football in Texas, Shannon. It's everything.
So now Baker obviously no longer plays for the University of Oklahoma, and they have to deal with Sam Ehlinger and all of all the resentment he's built up toward Baker on Saturday, and you will be there.
I will.
You can see, you remember the NFC Championship game, Michael Crabtree and Sherman. Sherman knocks the pass away, it gets intercepted. Aaron Andrews, at Fox, interviews him after the game. He's like, what happened? Well, they tried me with a sorry receiver. You try me with a sorry receiver, that's the result you're going to get. Okay, so you know it's contentious. Aqib Talib and Michael Crabtree, you know it's contentious. Even though Baker Mayfield I don't believe Baker Mayfield and Richard Sherman has never had any interaction. I just think the way Richard Sherman believes that the way Baker has conducted himself, I need to put this young man in his place. And so that's how that started. And Skip, you know, look, a guy don't have to say, I don't like you, Skip. You make me sick. You know. You could be around. No. You just know. And Baker sensed it. That's why Baker feet did not move.
Yep.
He didn't step back. He didn't step forward. He stuck his hand out.
And I was a little surprised we didn't hear a peep out of Baker yesterday via social media.
Yeah, because
the reason we didn't is because he got his butt kicked.
Yes.
He threw for 100 yards. Yeah, that was it.
Number one for him.
Yeah, and he had a QBR of a 1 on a scale of 0 to 100.
Oh, what? That's one more than me.
That's tough.
I know my cows
did it. One more than you.
So he took his lumps and he shut his mouth, and I'm sure he'll speak today, I assume, after practice.
But also knowing that he did shake his hand, he didn't really have a lot to have to defend, and I'm sure he assumed that video would surface.
But this is what Baker's up against. And this should give him, say, you know what? I might need to change the way I say things and how I do things. You got a guy like Nick Bosa that says, I don't talk. Mm-hmm. He's got guys going out of their character, going out of their way to get at him.
He does.
So that's what you're up against. That's what you're creating.
You know, that's a good point. Nick Bosa never acted like that before.
No.
He said he's been waiting for 2 years to do that.
Really normal
guys, they're like, Nick, do you normally talk? He's like, no, I don't normally say anything.
Nope.
Baker.
Yeah,
Baker.
he's like, come on, show me something. I mean, come on, try hard to do.
Yeah.
So you're going to get guys going out of their way to try and get at you because they don't feel you're paying the proper respect.
Okay. What's the answer to this? You just got to back it up. You can talk all you want. Shannon Sharpe talked. Shannon Sharpe backed it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
No mercy.
Hey, football fans, are you an Amazon Prime member? Did you know that you have Thursday Night Football? Yeah, that's right. Thursday Night Football has returned to Prime Video for a third season. The cool thing is, you can catch all the action on your TV, on the web, or on your mobile device anywhere in the world. And the experience is next level. With Prime Video's X-Ray feature, you can access next-gen stats, play history, and team information. And now it's available on iOS, Android, Fire tablets, and Fire TV. If you're ready to hear a new take on the game, you can switch over to sport broadcast legends Hannah Storm and Andrea Kramer for the play-by-play. So, if you don't have cable or simply want to experience the future of football, tune in this Thursday. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern and kickoff is at 8:20 p.m. Eastern. Also available on Fox and NFL Network. NFL Network simulcast subject to change. Thursday Night Football is presented by Bud Light Platinum.
No mercy.
Dak Prescott and the Cowboys continue to negotiate an extension. And according to one anonymous NFL executive, when Dak does sign a new deal, it will come with extra scrutiny. The exec used Kirk Cousins as an example of how a new deal can bring added expectations. And he continued by saying that Dak should take Cousins' situation as a, quote, warning. So, Shannon, do you agree with that premise?
I do, but if I'm Dak, I don't give a damn about this thing about Kirk Cousins. I'm going to get my money, Skip Bayless. Skip, absolutely. This is absolutely correct. Skip, really, if you really think about it, only the guys that don't get criticized with how much they make are the guys that won the Super Bowl, Eli notwithstanding. It's the Breezes, it's the Bradys, even though Brady doesn't make a ton of money. The Russell Wilsons, the Ben Roethlisberger. Everybody else, people will think that, what the hell you paid him $30 million for? He ain't won nothing. So it's either Super Bowl, you either win and you get paid, or you're overpaid. People are asking, Matt Ryan making how much? He ain't win nothing. Matthew Stafford making how much? He ain't winning anything. I believe Minnesota Vikings went into this situation, Skip. They knew Kirk Cousins was not a top 5 quarterback. He might not even be top 7, top 8, maybe not even top 10. But they believed, given what they had defensively and the skill position that they had around him, he was a better option and could take them farther than Case Keenum. With Dak Prescott, unless he wins a Super Bowl, people will think he's overpaid. People automatically assume, Skip, money, best. If you pay $100,000 for a car, you better not be calling no AAA to get a jump first thing in the morning. When you pay top dollar for a suit or luggage or whatever, it better not rip. What if you paying $35 million for a quarterback, Skip, what the hell your expectations are? You better deliver me a Super Bowl. Super Bowl or Super Bowls.
Plural.
That's how that works, Skip. I'm sorry, there's no way around it.
Okay.
That's just the way it is in the game of football, especially for that position. Nobody expects when a receiver, Skip, when Odell made his money, nobody thought Odell was going to be able to lead the Giants to the Super Bowl. They knew it was contingent on a lot of things. But when you pay a quarterback, because Skip Bayless is hammered it in my head, as a matter of fact, he drilled in my head.
Yeah, he drills it in.
Yeah, poured it in there.
Yep.
Quarterback's the most important player. He's the most valuable player. You can't do anything without him. And so once he told me that, you pay that guy that kind of money, well, guess what you need to pour in my head also? He won some Super Bowls. So absolutely, that criticism is going to come with Dak. The Kirk Cousins type criticism, Skip, it will go to Dak if he's unable to win a Super Bowl. Absolutely.
I'm sorry, but we're dealing with two questions in this block of our show that I'm having a hard time taking seriously. And we'll get to the next question in just a couple of minutes here. But this is another one. When I read this concept last night, that I LOL'd. I literally laughed out loud, because the premise is that when Dak gets his money, look out, he'll turn into Kirk Cousins.
No,
that's the premise. Well, that's what I took.
That's how you
from
read
this.
it?
Yes, that's where it's going, because the pressure will crush him, and he'll turn into the most overpaid quarterback in pro football.
Well, I took it differently.
That's how I am reading this. So now it forces me to go back to what I started telling you from literally day one on Undisputed back on September 6th of 2016. Kirk Cousins is an underconfident overachiever. How many times did I say that, even in that first year? And as soon as Minnesota gave him that money, that day, sitting right here, I said, this is the worst deal by far in the history of this league. And Kirk Cousins has just become the most overpaid player by far in the history of this league. $84 million guaranteed.
Completely fully
guaranteed over 3 years.
Yes.
And the only silver lining to it, it's only 3 years.
Yeah,
so
only.
You only have 1.5 more years to go, Jenny. But
thank you.
Well, Skip, that's like saying, well, you know what? You got to drink poison, but you only got to drink it for 3 years. Well, you hope it doesn't kill you in those 3 years. You hope he doesn't ruin your franchise in those 3 years.
Correct. So the irony of this question is that I'm seeing it through the prism of being a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Okay.
And all I know is 7 times Kirk Cousins faced my Cowboys as a Redskin. And he went 1-6. And I always looked forward to playing Kirk Cousins, because I just knew that at some moment in one of his 2 biggest games of the year, because it's Dallas, Washington, that he would throw us the football or do something stupid that would allow us to win the game. And the one game that he won of the 7 was against the current offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, Kellen Moore. So it took that. It took Kellen Moore for him to win one game. Dak went 4-0 against him, and one of the great battles we've ever had on the show came the Friday, I believe it was, after Thanksgiving, right? Because on Thanksgiving, Dallas pulled off a 31-26 win, and you loved a lot of what Kirk Cousins did, and I certainly respected it, because he threw for 449 that day. He threw 53 passes and completed 41. That's pretty good. 449, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. But in the red zone, Kirk Cousins went 2 of 5, and Dak in the red zone went 4 for 4, and made all the big throws, even though Dak's totals for the game, 195 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, but he made plays with his legs in the red zone, and they won the game. So he goes to 4-0, and Kirk Cousins wound up in Washington with a grand total record of 26-30-1. So he was 4 games under 500. So Dak right now is 35-18 as a regular season starter. I'd like to believe he's going to go win at the Jets on Sunday, so that would make him 36-18, so he would double his losses, which is pretty good, It's kind of Brady-esque. And
18 games over 500.
All right, that's pretty great. So here's my other problem with the premise. The whole idea of Dak will crumble under the pressure, the weight of whatever he's going to make, $30 million, okay? But as we've talked about often on this show, over the last 2 football seasons, he's had a dozen or so national TV commercials. Kirk Cousins has had 0. I don't know of any. He might have some locals in Minneapolis. I don't know. Probably not anymore.
I don't watch as much TV in Minnesota, but I'll find out from my family. Nothing I've seen on social media.
Okay. All right. So all those TV commercials just heap pressure on your shoulder pads. You know, your weight of carrying this franchise. You're America's team quarterback in Dallas, Texas. It's hard, man. It's a hot seat that you're sitting on.
Well, Skip, for me, I gathered is that what Dak is going to feel is that once you get that money. And see, the difference between Dak and Cousins is that Dak has everything. He has a top 2 running back. Okay. He has arguably one of the best offensive lines in football.
Are you talking about Cousins in Washington? Or
even if you look at Washington, Minnesota.
But I mean, Minnesota's defense is legit.
Yes.
And Dalvin Cook is legit.
Yes.
Thielen and Diggs are legit.
Granted, but when you look at Dak, and this is why the pressure's on Cousins, that's why he's getting killed, Skip, because of what he has. Yeah. You just mentioned Thielen, Diggs, Rudolph at the skill position, Dalvin Cook, a defense. Now you take that to Dak. He has a very similar situation. He got Coop, he got Gallup, he got Jason Witten, he got he got Zeke in the backfield, he got an offensive line, and he has a defense.
Minnesota's defense is better than Dallas.
Okay.
It just is. So far, I hope that changes, but at this moment, I got to give it to Minnesota.
But, so you see what comes along with that. They're going to say, Dak, you making $35 million. You got all of that. Russell Wilson does not have that. Tom Brady does not have that offensively. A lot of these guys, you got to deliver. So getting that kind of money, Skip, you can see I took it as the pressure that's on Kirk Cousins. Skip, look, if they had a choice, that was the only choice they have. They just knew Case Keenum wasn't the answer. He was a free, and Cousins was a free agent. Free agency is not about being good. It's about being free. We see every year, Skip, guys get overpaid.
No, I got it. Kirk Cousins would give you flashes of brilliance in Washington.
Yes.
But the Redskins themselves could never commit.
No, but Skip, when Cousins was in Washington, at no point in time was Washington team, player for player, better than the Cowboys. Never.
Okay, I'll buy that.
So
now the Cowboys were very young at that point.
Yes.
Remember when Dak, he went 4-0 with a pretty young football team.
But so the question is, if I'd have took Cousins and put him on Dallas and took Dak and put him on Washington on the same team and flip the situations, do you believe Dak goes 4-0 in Washington against Cousins in Dallas?
I do.
I do not.
Dak could change the culture. Dak's a leader.
Not that
Cousins
culture.
is not a leader.
Ain't nobody changing that culture with Daniel Snyder and Bruce Allen, but
well, I don't know.
That's withstanding. But Skip, that's the way I took it. That what comes along, Skip, it's a different ball game. Making $2 million, making $800,000, that's one thing. You start making $30 million, $35 million, that's a whole different tax bracket. Okay. That's a whole different level of expectations that people, that ownership places on you. Okay. Skip, they wanted Dak to win his rookie year. But Skip, he's making $400,000. But let's just say for the sake of argument, you go 13-3. You have home field throughout the playoffs, and you're making $35 million. And you lose after you've already beaten that team in their building. They would have crushed that.
I don't like your hypothetical because I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I'm just saying.
I've already gone on record, plural. Plural. Super Bowls before he's finished. He's 26 years of age. Here we go.
That's what I'm saying. When you pay a guy that type of money, the level of expectations that comes along with that.
I'm not sure they'd be all that much higher than is on this kid. And again, this kid, Dak Prescott, is simply the most underappreciated, over-criticized quarterback I've ever talked about on TV.
Well, it's your fault.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'll take
Stop talking about these Roger Staubach.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but he keeps living up, and you keep putting him down.
What he living up to?
Living up, putting down.
What he living up to? Whoa, the star. Hold up. I thought you were known for Lombardis. When he going to get to one of them Lombardis? When is he going to put something to the trophy case?
He's won the division 2 of his first 3 years. Is that a pretty good start? That's a pretty good start.
You know what? I won the division a couple of times.
Yeah.
I've never seen a division trophy.
Were you?
What they look like?
Did you play quarterback?
What they look
I don't
like?
remember.
No, I didn't play
don't
quarterback.
care about those trophies?
But
Okay.
the thing is, when they hand out Lombardis, it doesn't matter if you're a quarterback. I'm just trying to figure out where did they put division trophies at? Skip? Where did they put them at?
Well, I'm trying to figure out because in a little while on the show we're going to have a guest named Terrell Davis
Yeah.
who actually carried you to your first 2 Super Bowl rings.
Whoa.
Okay.
Am I right?
Wow.
Hey, my legs
Am I
were
right?
hurt. My legs were hurt.
Okay, your legs
Really?
were hurt. He did change life. I
He
got to
ch-
tell you,
oh.
changed life in
Oh,
Denver, Colorado.
you want me to get up here and lie and say, no, he didn't? He did.
He did. He did. He changed John Elway's life.
Yes, he changed all that.
did.
He changed the way we're viewed.
Lord have
we had some good
Whoa.
teams.
Yeah.
But if you don't win titles, you don't get thought of as being great.
Nope.
I think our '98 team went down as being the 15th or the 20th best team of all time.
Yep.
And without that Super Bowl,
I got
that's
it.
not possible.
And Terrell Davis's career was unfortunately not long enough, but
Yeah.
that burst in there,
He was unbelievable.
it was all time.
It was unbelievable.
Okay.
We might not ever see that again.
We
Skip.
might not ever see that. So sometimes that can happen.
Yep.
To it.
Yeah.
Before we do move on, something kind of ironic. I looked this up while you guys were chatting. Kirk and Dak both endorse sleep number beds. So
Oh.
he does have an endorsement, and it is the
Dak,
same as
drop
Dak.
it right
I
now.
figured that you
Drop
would
it.
appreciate that. They're
It's a bad
endorsing the same
association.
thing.
Dad, let your boy get one of them beds.
Yeah.
Why are you always
Wait,
trying to get something?
Is Kirk's only local?
No, I think it's national.
National?
Yeah. I did a
dude.
little research, guys. I'm
Okay.
paying attention
Hey,
around here.
that got a bed.
Who remembered that?
You got one of them beds too. You think
don't.
you think it's endorsed by Dak? It's endorsed by Cousins.
I got to get rid of that bed.
Yeah, seriously.
That's
Now
why
you know
you-
everything.
That's what's wrong.
That's why you have all those sleepless nights.
That's why you're waking up at 2 a.m.
That's why we lost the
Yeah.
last 2 games.
No mercy.
25 NFL coaches, execs, and scouts were asked one simple question. Which quarterback do you want if you have one game to win? 14 of the 25 voters picked Tom Brady, citing that he is one of the best ever at mid-game adjustments and can always find a way to win. Patrick Mahomes was the runner-up with 7 votes. One coach called Mahomes, quote, the most talented guy in the league. You've been talking to that guy, Shannon? Shannon, which QB would you take?
Come on, be honest.
Only honesty.
Be honest.
You want to tell you 100? God, the God's truth.
Yeah,
God's truth.
the God's truth.
The yo head.
God forgive him.
I got to get my homeboy.
Yeah.
I got to take my homeboy, Skip.
All right.
I know most people are going to take Tom Brady for what he's accomplished, but they say right now, if you got to have a game, if you got to win a game right now, that means today.
Yeah.
I'm taking Patrick Mahomes. You look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady has not looked like the Tom Brady that we know and love. Skip, he just hasn't. He's 22nd in completion percentage. He's 14th in yards per attempt. He's 9th in QBR. Mahomes is 2nd in QBR, 2nd in yards per attempt. Right now, as we sit here, no quarterback is playing currently better than Patrick Mahomes. Now, Russell Wilson is close, but I believe if I got to have a game and I got to win it, I'm on Mahomes because there's not a throw he can make. That throw that he threw for a touchdown, Tom Brady can never, ever, in his best day, at 21, at 25, at 31, he could have never made that throw.
That's true. I'll give you
That
that.
throw that he made on the sideline, that he dropped it in the bucket from about 35, Tom Brady could never make that throw on the move.
And
The throw
Tom
that
Brady could never throw it out of the stadium if, in fact, he did.
he did it. The one that he threw early in the game,
Yeah.
the Travis Kelce, where he got it with another no look. He's like, look at over there, hook that thing.
Tom Brady would never even think about throwing it left-handed. He just wouldn't do it.
Skip, I'm not here to question Tom Brady and what he's accomplished. He's accomplished that. He won those 6 Super Bowls. He has all those game-winning drives. He's won 28, 30 playoff games. That's not what we're talking about today. Today is right now, how they're playing right now. And right now, Patrick Mahomes is playing better. And so if I need someone to win me a game today, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes.
What deeply troubles me about your answer is if, in fact, hypothetically, you did have one game for your life and you took Patrick Mahomes, I'd have to look for another partner.
No.
I'd have to look for another partner.
That would be it.
No.
I'd be sunk, man.
No.
Don't do that.
I'll be back
Don't
at
do
home.
that to me.
About halftime, I'll be right here.
Would you?
Yeah, homeboy done had that thing sold up.
Maybe at halftime, yeah. Because
He'd be like Rodgers had that thing Sunday on you.
Well, boy, and then he almost didn't.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
So my answer is exactly the answer that one of the anonymous quotes here says from one NFL scouting director. Really? Is his response. Really? Give me the GOAT. Give me the GOAT. And I got it. 6 Super Bowl rings with 6 game-winning drives. You can't question his all-time clutchness.
No.
But even if we're doing it right here, right now.
Correct.
What did I see just Sunday night? I just saw Patrick Mahomes lose at home. My homeboy at home.
Yeah.
To an Indianapolis team that was down its 2 starting safeties and down Darius Leonard, who's one of the best linebackers, if not the best linebacker in pro football. Those 3 could not play, and he lost at home. 1 game for your life?
But
I don't know.
But I'm assuming that I'm gonna have Eric Fisher, I'm gonna have Tyreek Hill, and I'm gonna have Sammy Watkins to go along with that. So I'm gonna have a starting Pro Bowl player, an All-Pro wide receiver, and a very good wide receiver in Sammy Watkins. Skip, I mean, look, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. Tom Brady is great. But Tom Brady this year, Skip, Tom Brady is not playing like the first, second, third, or fourth best quarterback in the NFL.
So if we just go back a few months, back to that same stadium, Arrowhead Stadium. You had a few big games there.
Yep.
Overtime, AFC Championship game, what happened? Could we see those plays just to refresh everybody's memory? 3rd and 10 is the first one, and he throws it to Edelman. That was a really good throw. Well, he doesn't look old to me there. I don't know. What are you doing? Next one.
That was 8 months
3rd
ago.
and 10, second 3rd and 10. It was forever ago. Oh, that's to Edelman again. Oh, there's another one. Oh, I don't know how I did that. And then we're going 3rd and 10 again to Gronk, right? To Gronk. Oh, wait, he converted 3 straight 3rd and 10s in the AFC Championship game in the cold at Arrowhead?
Oh, Jenny, read that question.
Was that?
Jenny,
wait,
I need Jenny to read that question.
did he
again.
suddenly just
QB
grow
would you
old in a
take?
few months?
Hold up. If you had to win a game, what? Right now.
Which quarterback would you
Skip,
take?
you going back.
Okay, right now, wait a minute. Just 2 weeks ago, Pro Football Focus had him, Tom Brady ranked number 1 in the league through the first 3 games, right?
So where's he at right now?
So has he just fallen off the proverbial cliff? I don't know.
Okay.
Somebody push him off the cliff? I don't know.
Sunday was Patrick Mahomes' worst game. He threw for 315, 1 touchdown. We saw Tom Brady throw for $150, no touchdown, and an interception. So we've seen Tom Brady at his worst. Looked horrible. Skip, I mean, you looking at him this year, who did he play? He played Miami. We're gonna see what Patrick Mahomes' numbers looks like against Miami. We're gonna find out, right? Because they play Miami. We're gonna see.
Okay, that's fine. It won't change my opinion because I love these quotes in here. They're all anonymous, obviously, but one NFC scout said there's just a level of confidence he gives everyone around him in those moments. He does. Every Patriot in that huddle, under fire, under pressure, in the biggest game of the year, they think Tom Brady's going to pull this off, right?
There's nothing like having a guy like
Another
that.
AFC exec says, smart, swagger, and opponents just know he's going to win. They just do. I want that guy. 1 game for my life. And then getting a little more technical, another, I think this was a general manager said, his ability to process information during the game, adjusting and applying it, is like no other. Most players and coaches have to wait until they see the film after the game. Not Brady. He sees everything in the moment. That's what separates him. Patrick Mahomes is still a baby in NFL years. He can't see it, feel it, anticipate it the way Brady can. So if your life is on the line in 1 game, I want the guy who's done it and continues to do it. I want the guy who just won last year's Super Bowl.
The Patriots do the best job that I've seen maybe ever at in-game adjustments, both offense and defense. They do a great job. And that's normally true, Skip. Normally, the best adjustments normally take place after you've seen the film. Oh, that's what they were doing. That's the coverage. Okay, that's the defense that they're running. Okay, they was getting to that. They was running a weak zone, but that's not what they do. They got great coaches upstairs. They chart everything, and I don't know who they have up there. I guess Coach Belichick say they don't have analytics guys, but they have guys. I guess they got some really, really smart football guys, and they chart that information and they race down, Skip. And when they get downstairs, because Mike was very good at that. Because when we get downstairs, Skip, when we got into the locker room, Mike Shanahan, they would already have plays drawn up on the board. Okay, this is what they're doing to this. This is going to be our counter. This is what they're doing to that. this is going to be our counter. So that is something to be said. But in that game that you're talking about, my homeboy had 230 yards in the second half and 3 touchdowns.
Which game? Oh, the
AFC Championship game. I believe that game was won on the coin toss. Skip, I believe whomever got the ball was going to win the game. Tom Brady, he caught.
You no longer have any respect for Belichick's defense?
No, Skip. That sometimes when a guy gets hot like that, you know, we baseball players, it can be the best pitcher in the league, but you get a guy swinging a hot bat and you can't get him out. And at that point in time, as like Brady has figured so many people like defensive coordinators out, Mahomes had figured Coach Belichick out at that time, and there's no stopping him. Just like in the second half of the game in Foxborough, he had figured it out. He was good, and Brady just so happened to get the ball last, gets Gostkowski in field goal range.
What did Brady throw for in the fourth quarter of the game at Foxborough against Mahomes? 182 yards in the fourth quarter. That was just last year.
Yeah.
Just last year.
And
so help me out on
Mahomes
this.
was down the whole game.
Okay.
Mahomes threw for like almost 500, Skip.
I get it that Patrick Mahomes is like a one-man globetrotter show at quarterback. I get it that he can throw it behind his back, through his legs, left-handed, underhanded. He can do it all. He can throw cannon shots from 80 yards on a rope.
He can.
He can. I get all that. But help me out. What big game has he won so far? Help me out. What? None. I mean, show me one signature game where you say, he pulled that off.
Well,
now, again, it's hard to beat this guy, number 12. It's just hard to beat him.
Yeah.
So he had 2 shots last year, and he's still a baby, but he didn't beat him twice. Is it all his fault? Didn't have the defense, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But when it was time to rise and shine the brightest,
let me ask you a question.
12 shone the brightest.
Pat Mahomes has Coach Belichick calling his defenses. And Tom Brady has Bob Sutton calling his defenses. Is the outcome different? I think so.
Oh,
I think so.
Yeah. Boy,
that's why you don't want to
get that Belichick defense last year. It had some low moments.
No, and it still finished top 5.
Jacksonville, see Detroit,
and it still finished
see Miami,
and it still finished top 5 in points allowed. Remember, it's points, not yards, that wins you titles. That's why Tom Brady's only had a handful of time. Not that big hand. Like 3 times he's finished outside the top 10 in points allowed.
So you would bet your life on a kid who has no signature NFL wins. Really?
Mahomes.
Just on potential.
Boy.
I'll bet my life on what I think he could do. No.
I know what he would do.
You know what? I know what you would do. You would take Tom Brady.
I'm taking Mahomes. Skip. They didn't say him last year, they'll see what he did in the AFC Championship game. They didn't say, did you know that the other guy won 6? They said, right now. And right now, that guy is playing better than the guy that has 6 Super Bowls. That's all.
Right now, one guy is undefeated and the other guy lost at home to Indianapolis.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, if you're doing right, you threw me the right now argument
now.
and I threw it back at you. That's all I know.
A couple days ago.
Okay.
I want my homeboy.
Right.
My guy is MVP favorite. Where's your guy?
Mahomes lost to Jacoby Brissett at home? Really?
Your guy lost to Nick Foles. Your guy lost to Marcus Mariota. Marcus
last year.
Mariota.
That was another Belichick disaster.
I mean, let that sink in for a second. Marcus Mariota.
And my guy just won another Super Bowl. Well, that's what happened. After the Mariota game, he went on to win the Super Bowl.
He did.
Yep, and he went on to convert 3 3rd and 10s in overtime at Kansas City.
I played with a guy that converted 2 4th and 10s, but I ain't talking about him. My homeboy gonna win some Super Bowls too. Now, when he win those, Skip Bayless, ain't nobody. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And I want you to have that energy right there.
Yeah. Listen, with number 12, I have boundless energy.
It's your light about to dim. It's dim. It's flickering.
Really?
It's flickering. Yeah, that light flickering.
Well, you've predicted this is his last year in New England.
You know, when it goes out, it's done.
No mercy.
Pro Football Talk's Week 6 power rankings still have the Patriots at the top. The Chiefs dropped from 2nd to 5th, though, after their loss to the Colts. Shannon. The Cowboys also fell to 9th, Skip, after their loss to the Packers. Not appearing in the top 10 were the Eagles, who came in at number 11, following back-to-back wins. So, Shannon, what's your biggest problem with this list?
Everybody know what my problem is. You know what it is, too.
I don't.
Yes, you do. The Cowboys.
Oh, it is?
Yes. How the Cowboys in front of the Eagles, Skip? Explain that. If the Eagles had played the Cowboys schedule, they'd be 4-1 also. So I just want to make sure I'm hearing things correctly. The team that the Cowboys lost to at home by giving up 34 points The Eagles went on the road on a short week and beat that team in their building, but they're behind the Cowboys.
Interesting.
In what universe, what galaxy does that make sense? We got the same record. We're both 3-2. The team that just beat you on Sunday hung 34 on you. We beat them in their building. Huh? Your quarterback, now, all I hear, my quarterback don't turn the ball over. My quarterback is so careful with the football. Your quarterback has 6 picks. He's thrown at least one in 4 straight games.
He has 4, but go ahead.
Anyway, no, Dak has 6 interceptions this season.
He has 4 that he deserves.
No, don't do that, Skip Bayless. See, I think you try to throw about, he has 4. Dak Prescott has 6 interceptions. He has a pick in 4 straight games. My guy, walking to him, has 2. Skip, did you know this is a travesty? They ought to be ashamed. Pro football talk ought to be a bad. They ought to be bad.
Yeah, they should just shut down the Cowboys.
No.
Let them play another game.
How are the
over?
Skip, the Cowboys are 9 and the Eagles are 11.
Yep.
With the exact same record. And after the Eagles on a short week went to Lambeau and beat the Packers, the Cowboys just lost to the Packers. And somehow with the exact same record, the Cowboys are still ahead. I'm confused.
Okay. You want me to clarify?
Yeah, would you please?
Oh, please. I'm going to bring you back to my galaxy, my universe, because sometimes I think I don't live in the same universe you live in. But here's my universe. So this is actually pretty simple math to me. So the Cowboys are 9th, and they've lost 2 games to the team ranked 2nd and the team ranked 4th.
Okay.
Got that?
Got it.
2 games.
2 and
There's
4.
no shame in losing to 2 and 4 if you're 9, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
we beat the team that's ranked 4.
Time out. I'm talking.
Okay, my bad.
So the Eagles are still wallowing down here at 11. 11.
There they are.
Yeah, and they lost at home to the team ranked 12th.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. The Lions are ranked 12th. They're now 2-1-1, and they get a big shot Monday night, Lambeau Field. We'll see how that plays out.
Right.
See how good they are. I don't know, maybe they're really good. And the Eagles also lost to the team. I got to get, because it prints out into a whole nother sheet over here. I got to go down, way down. Where are these? Oh, here they are, 27th.
Yeah.
The Eagles lost to the 27th ranked team. The Atlanta Falcons now 1-4 with coach on hot seat. Right?
Yeah.
So the Eagles lost to the teams below them at 12 and 27. The Cowboys lost to the teams above them at 2 and 4.
No.
That's pretty simple math. I get that.
At the time, hold on. First of all, see what you try to do, Jenny? At the time y'all played, y'all were ranked above them. You lost. That's why you ranked below them, Skip Bayless. And you know,
no, but this is right here, right now.
Okay.
9 lost to 2 and 4. I get that.
Okay.
Any shame losing to 2? No.
Okay.
And it was at 2.
Okay.
It was at their building.
What about Aguilar?
Yeah.
Walking to him, hit him in the hands. Did he not?
What happened at your restaurant that night? What happened?
I was closed. I was
closed. Yep. They tried. They knocked on the door.
Skip,
your maitre d' said, sorry. Mr. Sharpe says no.
You came in the next day and said, hey, I got to give it up to your guy, limp it to him. Yeah. He threw a good pass, and he should have caught it.
Okay, but he didn't. And that's part of winning football games, and they lost.
Okay.
They lost to the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, I remember you saying that.
1-4. Well, I'm just stating the facts that you always throw back at me.
Okay.
It's about W's and L's.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they lost to 12 and 27. They deserve to be 11.
No, they deserve to be in front of y'all because we beat you guys.
Now let's look at limp it to him. Carson Wentz. So the last 2 games at Green Bay and against the Jets at home, he threw for 160 at Lambeau and 189 against the Jets at home. Is that good? That's what you used to accuse Dak of. Can't even break 200, right?
Hold up. If you don't mind me asking, what's his record in those 2 games?
Well, they did win, but again, it must be about everybody around him. His team is lifting him.
Your guy threw for 463. Your guy threw for 463 and caught a what? He came to my restaurant, and it just so happens on Sunday, you know, normally that's a worship day for me, Jenny. I don't normally open on Sundays because I want everybody.
Be careful.
But since I knew the Cowboys were going to be coming, I stayed open late. And I served. Now, do you want what that got? He had a hot L with no cheese.
He threw for 329 in the second half. I think I'd make an exception for him.
No, he got the same thing.
That's private room bottle service kind of a performance,
and
right?
All the hot L's he could eat.
So Carson Wentz, guess what? He's ranked 21st in the National Football League in yards passing per game. Is that good? 21st? You've had him as your MVP, right?
Skip, you know what? I see what you're doing, Skip Bayless. I have not had him as my MVP this year, although he is in the rankings ranked ahead of Dak in the MVP.
But Dak is number 1 in QBR, and Carson Wentz is pretty good. He's 5th. Versus 5th.
Okay, what about my homeboy? Now, you know who...
Dak in yards passing per game is 4th in the league.
Yes.
Carson Wentz is 21st.
Yes.
So I don't know. Carson Wentz has been shockingly blah the last couple of games. And again, what did the Eagles get? They got Luke Falk at home. My team has to go to New York to play the Jets against Sam Darnold.
A guy that just coming back after having mono. After being out for a month.
I know. Do you know how tired you get from mono?
Yeah. Exhausted.
Oh, I thought it was Manu. Like Manu.
Like this wasn't him just resting up.
Yeah.
This was...
And you see what he said?
This is hard.
And guess what? You see what he tried to do? He tried to paint a picture. Your team walking to him got Luke Falk. My team got to go on the road
Am I right?
and get Sam Darnold.
Am I
I don't know
right?
if that would work.
Let's see. Sam Darnold, Luke Falk. I think the scales go like this. Luke Falk is not very good. You saw
And
what the
Sam,
Patriots did.
and what?
Sam Darnold's okay.
Sam Darnold.
Okay.
You liked him going into the draft better than Baker Mayfield. You did. Okay?
But Skip,
now I have to deal with it.
What does that have to do with
He's
anything
going to
right
come
now?
back with this comeback performance of the year off Manu nucleosis, right?
Whatever. You can't even say that with a straight face because you already know. Skip, the Jets, Christian McCaffrey has more yards by himself than the Jets have as a team.
Wow.
Let that sink in for just a second.
Let Luke Falk sink in for just a second.
Hold on. Sam Darnold did start a few games. Am I correct?
Yep.
Okay. So one guy, a man, Christian McCaffrey, runs CMC, has more yards than the Jets.
So, you know what? A Luke Falk start at the Eagles, seriously, at the Eagles, it shouldn't count in the standings.
Whatever.
Like it should be discounted to the point where you just don't get a win from it.
Hold on. If you don't mind me asking, when you guys played Washington, who started?
Who started?
Yeah, Case Keenum, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you guys played...
Case Keenum, who pulled off the Minnesota Miracle.
Skip!
Playoff win.
You know what? That was so like...
in Minneapolis.
Okay. When you guys played...
Against the Saints.
When you guys played Miami.
Yep.
Who started? Fitzmagic. And then who came in?
He is dangerous, man. He's had some of the most miraculous runs. Last year, first game of the year, what did Fitzmagic do at New Orleans against Drew Brees?
Oh, he was
What did he do?
unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. He has
Dangerous.
moments.
Dangerous.
Skip, he has moments. He has moments. But and
Fitzmagic, Josh Rosen. Which one?
and he went and when he played, had another big game, had like 400-yard games back to back. And then what happened? The moment you had expectations, Coop. Now again, you need to stop this trying to sell this. Look, this is a Sam Darnold. You know Sam Darnold. Cowboys gonna run rush shot.
They
you know
won't
that.
run roughshod. They're struggling right now. They've lost their flow, their confidence.
Who lost their flow?
My team.
Okay, I tell you what. I give you the Jets in 14.
I'm not betting against my team. Sorry.
But no, we
We should win this game, and then we can have this conversation the following.
walk into him.
Here they
Walk
come.
into him.
Yeah, but Walkatum's got to walk to Minneapolis first.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm feeling about that one.
And to your credit, Minnie's only a 2.5-point favorite at home, so the odds makers, or at least the gamblers, are sort of siding a little bit with Philly.
Well,
Yeah.
Philly better get up and stop the run.
Okay.
Because I know Gary Kubiak. I know all the offensive coaches.
You do.
Rick Dennison, the offensive line coach. Brian Periani, the tight end coach.
Yep.
They're going to run the ball.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 straight
So,
road games for the Eagles,
3 straight,
too. That's
and then they got to go to Buffalo. No cakewalk there. Tom Brady had a hard time.
Hey, that's Tom
Wonder
Brady.
how Carson Wentz will do at Buffalo.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're not worried?
He'll throw for like 129? in that game,
He'll
maybe?
throw for more than 150.
Really?
He'll throw for more than 150. That's
Yep.
for sure.
honey. That's what we're going to have to call him, is honey, as in that's what he throws for, a honey.
You know, that's your boy Baker. Your Baker threw for that Hyundai. Baker had a Hyundai and a one.
Yeah.
A one Hyundai.
A 100.
Yeah.
I don't know. Carson's having a hard time. I don't know
What you mean he having a hard time? He has the exact same record as your quarterback, who's putting up these godly numbers against shamble teams.
You lost to the Lions at home.
Okay.
Yep.
You lost to New Orleans on the road with Teddy Bridgewater.
That's just shameful.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, and what did he do to Tampa last week?
Tampa. So you guys are Tampa.
No, but Tampa's pretty good on defense. What did they just done to the Rams?
What did Jared Goff just do to the Rams?
Okay, well.
5 turnovers by himself.
Yeah, I'm okay with
Gotta
9.
test this
That's about
weekend.
what
I bet you should be okay with that. But you know, the Cowboys should not be in front of the Eagles. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on.
You know what? This is
Skip.
irrelevant. Let's just see what happens a week from Sunday.
Skip.
All right.
Plus the fact you've lost 2 straight.
Okay.
Okay.
We have.
They've won
You're
2
right.
straight.
You got to get
cannot
back
argue,
on track.
But you know what? We took off last year, the first time we played the Eagles, and then the second time we played the Eagles, we just went into hyperspace. So here we go.
So you will take off again?
Yeah.
One thing that hasn't
Get
changed.
4-2, and then the Eagles 5-2. Here we go.
Don't jump too far ahead, Skip.
No mercy.
The Patriots released another offensive weapon, and Tom Brady isn't too happy about it. When veteran tight end Ben Watson was let go earlier this week, Brady said that he is only the quarterback and does not make personnel decisions. Brady also reflected on how the decision impacted him personally. Take a listen.
Pretty tough, pretty tough. I mean, it's tough for a lot of guys. I've played with a lot of guys over the years, and, Ben's a great player. He's been a great player for this team, for other teams. He's had an incredible career, and hopefully he can keep playing. And I know he was looking forward to playing, and I miss him. He was right next to me, and for as great as a player he was 10 times better person. Just the highest integrity, and I can't say enough good things about Ben, what he's meant to me and my family, our team. So we're going to miss him.
Okay, Shannon, what does this tell you about Brady?
Before I get into my point, Jenny, you notice Tom says he's the quarterback. He stays out of personnel decisions, except when it comes to Jimmy G. And then he goes upstairs and talks to his dad. But he stays out of personnel. You know what I'm saying, Jen? I'll stay out of personnel.
Feeling that could come
Exactly. So you don't stay out of personnel unless that personnel is you. Okay. Not to the point you asked me, Jen.
Yes.
Well, wait a second. The kid's going to replace him. The coach is going to say, I'm going with Jimmy G.
If you stay out
what would you do?
If you stay out of personnel, you stay out of personnel.
Oh, so you say, okay, I'll go somewhere else.
If you stay out of he said he stayed out of personnel. So in other words, like you said at the beginning, Richard Sherman lied. In other words, Tom Brady just told a lie. So he doesn't stay out of personnel. But Skip, let me get to my point. Why you keep interrupting me?
Just to bring you
Let's
back
hear
on
it.
track.
Ben Watson, I know Ben Watson personally. He's a great guy.
Yep.
And, Skip, the difference between players in the locker room and coaches is that the players in the locker room, you interact with these guys on a daily basis. You become very, very close to a lot of these guys, Skip. Sure. And a lot of times, like in games, after a game, you have family come in, and you're like, such and such, hey, I had a lot of guys, hey, Sharpe, let me introduce you to my mom. Let me introduce you to my dad. Let me introduce you to my wife, my fiance. Yep. Hey, Sharpe, this is my little boy. So you get close, Skip, you develop a relationship with guys. Sure. But you understand that there's a cruel part of this business. It means that sometimes friends, very close friends, will get traded or get released.
Sure. Yep.
That's the downside of this business because you do build such great relationships and it affects you. But the one person that this never affects is Coach Belichick because he never gets close. Coach Belichick understood for a very long time that no matter how great a player you are or no matter how much you might think he likes you, there will come a time, no matter how great you are, you'll get traded or you'll get released. So he doesn't have that attachment, Skip, that players have with each other because we mingle day to day.
Different.
We're in the locker room, we're in the meetings, we're laughing and joking on the plane, on the bus, stretching. Coach Belichick doesn't get that. He's out there when we're laughing and joking, if you notice, Skip, he's twirling his whistle. He's doing that. Well, guys are building relationships because Coach Belichick understands it makes his decision tougher. There's a reason why in the military, there's no fraternizing. Higher ups, you're a general, you're a colonel, you're a lieutenant.
That is true.
You can't mingle with those subordinates because it makes your job tougher. Because there's this thing called you might have to go to war. And if you love us like a subordinate or you got favor, you might not want to put him in harm's way.
Yep.
Coach Belichick is looking, if I like this guy, it's going to make my decision. Cost the Giants. Because John Mara had a relationship with Eli Manning, Skip. It clouded his judgment. It made a decision that should have been made years ago. It made it tough on him. Now he finds himself in this position. Coach Belichick will never have that problem. Coach Belichick will get rid of a guy a year early as opposed to a year late.
Even Tom Brady.
Even Tom Brady.
Yep.
So I understand Tom. And Tom, I believe Tom is sincerely, genuinely hurt because if you're around Ben Watson for more than a minute, you'll understand what Tom Brady's talking about.
Yep. So my interpretation of all this outpouring from Tom Brady, and that was rare for him.
That was emotional.
Boy, he went on. That got very emotional by his standards.
Yes,
Sure. Oh, yeah.
You don't get that from him.
No.
I think he was taking another subtle shot at his head coach, whom he believes is taking another not so subtle shot at him, making his degree of difficulty higher and higher because you lost Rob Gronkowski. Congratulations to him. He's now working for Fox.
Yep.
I don't know if he will go back to Tom Brady. I thought he would, but maybe this
you did
is
think
a
so.
signal that maybe he's found a new home. And I'm sure that will hurt Tom to some degree because I think he was holding out hope that maybe Rob would rejoin him in November.
Right.
But the point is, Belichick did draft N'Keal Harry, and it was the first wide receiver he's taken since he's been the New England coach. And yet N'Keal Harry got hurt in the preseason, and he's gone for the first 8 games.
Correct.
So all of a sudden, you replace Rob Gronkowski with Matt LaCosse on his 5th team, and Ryan Izzo, a former 7th-round draft choice of Belichick's.
Right.
That's it. That's all you got. And at least Ben Watson would give you a viable, trustable veteran receiver who gets you, knows you, and that you have trust and rapport with.
He was originally drafted by the Patriots, spent 6 years with the Patriots, won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. So Tom, is very familiar with Ben Watson.
Right.
And if you look at what he said, Skip, Tom Brady said, "Oh, those guys are trying. They're
trying hard.
They're really working hard."
Right. But he made a clear point. I know Ben was looking forward to playing.
Yes.
Obviously, he was suspended for the first 4 games, and you kept making the point, hey, they do get Ben Watson back because you had respect for what he could do to help them. Right?
Yes.
Especially in the dire circumstance that they're in.
Right.
Even Philip Dorsett pulled up lame the other day.
Right.
So now it's Edelman and James White, and that's about it.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
That's hard, man. Degree of difficulty. So Tom went from the greatest new toy you could ever have, Antonio Brown, to losing Ben Watson to, wait a minute, I got Matt LaCosse and Ryan Izzo?
And Skip, I knew something was up because the moment, normally when guys come off a situation, you're suspended for 2 games, 4 games, whatever it is, teams normally immediately activate that guy.
Yep.
Oh.
Once he wasn't immediately activated, I was like, okay, now what's going on?
That's a good point.
Something's not on the up and up. It's not like these guys will, Skip, a lot of times guys are blowing it away. This guy's caught a couple of 3 or 4 touchdowns in the first 2 or 3 games or has over 100 yards in the first 2 or 3 games. You're like, okay, well, they've seen enough. They're going to move on. But these guys are giving them no indication that moving forward, they're going to be anything more than just serviceable.
Right. So I consider Tom Brady the greatest leader in sports today. And the Tom Brady I know would never have said what he said about Ben Watson because usually it's next man up. We just got to move forward. Love Ben, but now we got to work hard with Ryan and Matt. And, like he would be on to the next day and we're on to Cincinnati. In that way, he's a reflection of his head coach. Well, when you gush like this, you're showing this hits you right in the heart, man. And this is hitting you where you live because you're starting to fear you just don't have enough weapons to get home.
And he says, like, we need to show more consistency on offense because they've struggled, with the exception of the first game, Skip. If you look at Miami, it was those 2 pick sixes that really broke the game wide open. They struggled in Buffalo. They got it going late in Washington.
They did.
But Tom is like, we need to, and you talk about we need to get more consistent. We need to do better, but with what?
Yeah, I mean, they were down 7-0 at Washington, and it was still a game at halftime.
Right.
Then he wound up throwing for 342, and it sort of broke open.
It gets personal, Skip. Especially when, like I said, when you know a guy, because there are a lot of times, I mean, there's 53 guys in the locker room, maybe 60 guys with the scout, with the development squad. Everybody you're not close to. But a guy that you're really close to, Skip, that you really know, you laugh, you talk, you joke with, he gets released, it hits you different. As opposed to a guy you see him around, you're like, hey man, what's up? Going like Ben Watson, he's that kind of guy that he's a great guy. He's great in the community. Talk to him about anything, any topic. A family guy. Got 7, I think he and his wife welcomed their 7th kid. I think they had twins, maybe they had twins, but he got 7 kids now. So he and Tom can talk about a lot of different things. And he's only making $2 million. Tom was like, well, hell, you only gave me $8 million. You cut AB because you didn't want to give him all his whatever that reason was. Ben's only making $2 million. What the hell all the money go?
That much.
Where the money?
Lacoste and Izzo make like $4 an hour. Right?
Exactly. And it was Taco Tuesday, so they didn't get paid yesterday. They got paid in tacos.
So bottom line from Tom Brady, he said, I'm the quarterback, so I don't make those decisions. And that hit me hard last night because I had just finished a long story on ESPN.com about the Anthony Davis trade to the Lakers. And in it, it pointed out through quotes from Anthony Davis that every move Rob Pelinka made post-trade, all the additions, which I think are really good, to the bottom of the roster as he scrambled to make up because they were waiting for number 2's decision. Every move he called AD and LeBron, you good? You like this guy? Can you work with this guy? Can you get along with this guy? So they co-signed on every move Rob Pelinka made. Well, that's kind of the flip side of New England, right? Because this guy...
if football is not like that, Skip.
It is not like that.
Maybe they might give you a courtesy call, Skip, with one guy. Maybe it's a receiver. What do you think about this guy? But as far as like they signing a defensive guy or a D lineman, they don't give a damn what you think about that. We doing what we want to do. But in basketball, you best believe if the Nets bring someone in, they talking to Kyrie and KD. Well, obviously you would expect that for a superstars way differently in basketball than they do football. So I'm not surprised that Tom Brady doesn't get a call, but Coach Skip, Tom Brady could be.
I can make the case he deserves it.
Well, that's what I mean.
Tom could have won 12 Super Bowls. Coach Belichick ain't calling Tom to run anything by him.
Because then you would have to share some credit for this decision with the quarterback. And I do not believe Tom Brady ever has quite gotten over the Malcolm Butler decision not to play him at the Minneapolis Super Bowl, right?
Get to Malcolm Butler. I'm not getting over you tried to get rid of me.
He did.
At the end of the day, Skip Bayless, you tried to get rid of me. I know for a fact.
But Tom threw for 505 in that game, and they lost, 41-33. And Malcolm Butler was doghouse the whole game. Didn't play a snap on defense.
But still, Skip, I threw for man, you know what? I'm trying to win this game. I mean, think about it, Skip. I'm in that game, and I'm walking to the sideline, and I see Coach Belichick at the corner of my eye because I'm walking towards Josh McDaniel. That mofo tried to trade me. He tried to get rid of me.
That is correct. That's exactly what he would think. And he probably thinks that might flash through his head this afternoon on the practice field.
I mean, come on.
Fascinating.
As accomplished as that.
Yeah.
I mean, you work at a say Apple or Google, and you come up with these patents. You came up with, you discovered the iPhone, or you came up with this app that everybody's using, and they're like, you know what? We want this guy that's under you. We're gonna give him your job,
And then to act like it's no big deal every single day.
Yeah. I mean, we Apple, we gonna move on without you.
Okay.
They are an interesting dynamic.
But it takes a lot. Skip, a lot of people couldn't deal with that. A lot of people couldn't deal with what Tom goes through because at the end of the day, you got at some point in time, you got to pat me on my back.
Sure.
I mean, I understand, but you got even with my dog, they go outside. I say, good boy, but you go out, you got to give me something.
2 off seasons ago, Jim Gray asked Tom, "Do you feel appreciated by the organization?" He said, "I plead the 5th."
That's crazy.
Skip. And when they ask him about Tom, he always says, we got a lot of good players. Man, that man didn't ask you, do you got a lot of good players? He asked you about Brady.
Like, we got a real good quarterback.
He's like, Tom is really good.
He's a good quarterback.
I mean, it wouldn't be that hard.
But we got a lot of good players. But Skip, that works. That way he keeps everybody on a level playing field.
Yep.
Nobody thinks they're better than anybody else, because if you do, he reminds you very quickly, oh, you just like him.
I don't know.
No mercy.
This week starts Saturday strong with the big noon Saturday game of the week. Heisman hopeful Jalen Hurts leads at number 6 Oklahoma against number 11 Texas in one of the best rivalries in all of college football. The Red River Showdown. It all starts with the big noon kickoff pregame show at 10 a.m. Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. So in that game, Jalen will surely be looking to have his Heisman moment. When asked about the Red River rivalry game, Hurts said, quote, "I played in the Iron Bowl. I've played in big games. I think I'll be all right." Love the confidence. We're now joined by Fox college football analyst Joel Klatt. We will be there on Saturday.
Yes, can't wait.
One of our favorites.
Yes,
You've said that multiple times.
Yep.
But Skip, I'm going to start with you here because Oklahoma, your team, how important is this game for Jalen's Heisman chances?
As soon as Jalen Hurts signed with the University of Oklahoma, I told that man across from me, I give OU a good shot to win its 3rd straight Heisman Trophy.
Wow.
After I watched Oklahoma and Jalen Hurts destroy Houston on Sunday night of Labor Day weekend on the solo national stage, I came in and said, he's going to win OU's 3rd straight Heisman. But this is it. This is for all the Heisman marbles, because OU's schedule in the Big 12 is not quite what it used to be, even though there are 5 teams in the FPI top 26. I don't know how you feel about the conference, but TCU isn't what it used to be.
It's decent in the middle.
It's decent.
Yeah.
Kansas State isn't quite what it used to be. Oklahoma State's okay, but not great. West Virginia's down a little bit from Will Grier, so we can just keep going. So this is it. Jalen Hurts, I believe, will put on a Heisman show on Saturday, and you too will get to enjoy it. He will do so with his arm as well as his legs, because he is throwing the heck out of the football under Lincoln Riley. He is leading the nation in QBR. And I believe he's going to have to put on a Heisman show, because he's going to have to score 45-ish points, because I believe Oklahoma will allow Sam Ehlinger to score 40-something points.
Sure.
And you're going to have the same game that you had with Kyler Murray and Ehlinger last year, which was 48-45 Texas in this game. Obviously, Kyler got revenge in the Big 12 championship game. But silly me, I thought that Alex Grinch would be the Grinch who stole all the Christmas mornings that all the offenses had against Oklahoma last year. He came from The Ohio State, where he was the co-defensive coordinator with Greg Schiano. And I thought, oh, he's going to change life. And then I watched the Kansas game last Saturday, and Kansas, with its first drive of the game, went 99.5 yards for the 7-0 touchdown. And I'm like hiding my eyes thinking, here we go again, because Puka Williams Jr. for the Kansas Jayhawks had 137 yards rushing, and Stephon Robinson Jr. caught 131 yards of balls, 5 catches for 131.
Yep.
And I'm saying, yikes. I don't know about this defense, because it's starting to look like last year's defense. So it's a great stage. It's a Fox national game. Here we go. Yep. And I think he can have his Heisman moment and then put up a lot of big numbers the rest of the way. But you're going to have to beat Sam Ehlinger first in a regular season game.
Yeah, it's interesting, and you bring up a lot of good points. And this game is obviously very important to the two teams. But just in the Heisman discussion, it's so much different than last year, because Kyler and Tua last year had separated themselves a bit, even to this point in the season. Right. We were just talking about those two. That's not the case this year, guys. There's a deep field of Heisman candidates.
Back at Wisconsin,
Jonathan Taylor, Justin Fields at Ohio State. You can bring up Joe Burrow at LSU, and that's why I actually think this game, from a Heisman perspective, is so big for Jalen Hurts. Is we've already seen a guy that I would put in the top 3 in the discussion for Heisman beat Texas this year, and he did it throwing for 471 yards and 4 touchdowns in Austin. And that was Joe Burrow from LSU, who has totally transformed LSU, by the way, and made them a totally different team. They're the #1 scoring offense in the country
by the way,
right now.
He completed 31 of 39 that night.
He was sensational. And we spoke with Tom Herman yesterday, and Tom Herman said that was the best a quarterback has played against the team that he was coaching since he can remember. Just give you a sense of what Joe Burrow did. So that's why this is so important for Jalen Hurts. Not only is he playing another guy who could be in the discussion in Sam Ehlinger and should be in the discussion, but we've got such a deep field that if you play your way out at this point in the season, I don't know if there's going to be an opportunity to get back in that discussion. There was that opportunity for Kyler Murray last year. He took advantage late in the season. I don't think that opportunity is going to be afforded Jalen. So when it comes to the Heisman Trophy, either of these guys have to win this game on Saturday in that Cotton Bowl.
I look at it, for me, he has to play well to have a chance. But what Tua has working in his favor, Texas A&M, LSU, Auburn, and possibly Georgia. Florida.
Yep.
He runs the gauntlet, puts up 2 or 3 touchdowns per game. They win. How do you overcome that?
That's going to be tough.
You're talking about a number 4 LSU. You're probably going to be talking about a number 3 Georgia, a number 5, you know. And he's
what if he fades down the stretch the way he did last year?
Well, last year he was hurt. And I think
that killed him.
That killed him. And he didn't play. He threw 2 passes all fourth quarter, all last year. Well, he's playing in the fourth quarter this year for the simple fact he doesn't have the injuries have decimated the depth of their defense.
That's right.
So you got a lot of true freshmen playing. So he's having to play, and he's playing phenomenal. He's 23-0, 23 tubs, 0 picks.
Who took over the fourth quarter of the SEC championship game last year? I'm just asking. I can't remember.
Yeah, all I'm saying, and that receiving core that he has, they're unbelievable.
Yeah.
Nobody can touch that. When you got Judy, who won the Biletnikoff Award, who might be the second or third best receiver now, when you go with Ruggs the third and Devontae Smith, who caught the game winner, who just went for
They might have 3 in the first round.
They might. They might. It's incredible.
But everybody's jumping on Jalen Hurts when he said, well, I played in the Iron Bowl. Well, that's not the Red River. Dude. The dude started 2 national title games. The Red River rivalry is a big game.
Yes.
But it's not bigger than national title games.
I don't think it's bigger, but it is unique.
Yes.
And I think that he's going to have at least a sense to get used to that environment, because you've been there in that game. Split at the 50. It's the most unique environment in college football. Here's one thing I will give Jalen. Is that in my estimation, when you look at the Heisman Trophy, you start thinking about who's the most valuable for their team, who's the best player in college football, what do they do with the ball in their hands? Did you know that on an action play for Jalen Hurts, so if he's throwing the ball or running the ball, he is leading the country in yards per action play? It's over 12 yards. That's insane. This guy is second in the country in rushing yards per attempt. He's first in the country in passing yards per attempt. You can go down the list. Tua has been sensational. 5 touchdowns in 3 straight games for Tua. I'm telling you, the class of Heisman candidates this year is a lot like the class of national championship candidates this year and contenders this year. It's deep. This is as deep and as good of a field at the top end in college football, guys, as we've had in a long time.
Yeah, I like OTT, though. I like old Tua. That left-handed ref throwing that thing, Skip. You gonna see Texas A&M gonna find out the hard way.
What if he can't even beat Joe Burrow?
That's
gonna be very. It's gonna be.
I know you're.
It's gonna be. You know what? This might be the first time, because normally Alabama LSU, it's a shutout. Alabama shuts them out 20-0.
Not this year.
Or it's a 24-3 ball game.
Sure.
Yeah.
This might be a 50-45 ball game. Both guys.
What are you gonna say then?
Oh, they winning that game. You think LSU? You think?
No,
LSU?
I'm just saying.
I was gonna say, I thought you thought LSU was gonna go to Alabama.
Those that defend the SEC always talk about the defense, and then they get on the Big 12 for games like 48-45 last year in the Red River game. What happens this year when LSU and Alabama play their 48-45 game? Are people going to say, "Hey, where did the defense go?"
But see, you get one of those. Every game is like that in the Big 12, and there's a reason why. When you want a defensive guy, when teams in the NFL, when they want defensive guys, what conference do they go to? Do they go to the Big 12? Now, if you want a quarterback,
actually, you know where they go? Ohio State.
You go to,
that's where they go.
They go to Bama. They go to Bama.
In the last 4 years, there's not been a college football team that has provided more first-round defensive players than Ohio State with 8, and they're going to have a few more this year.
They should be ashamed of themselves and not have more national titles than what they got to play for more than that. With all them first-rounders they got and doing what? Skip.
Figured you'd say that.
I just have one last question for Joel Klatt.
Let's see.
Oklahoma has one player on defense who I consider one of the best defensive players in all of college football, like a top 5. His name is
Kenneth
Murray.
Kenneth Murray.
And he's like in every play. His nose is where the ball is.
That's true.
and their defense is awful. How do you explain? I can't.
I would disagree with you, actually. I think Oklahoma's defense has made drastic improvement. Just to give you some sense, I think the biggest thing that you can do on defense, Shannon, you know this from standing on the sidelines, get off the field.
Yes.
Right? Whether it's via turnover or third down.
Yeah,
Last year, Oklahoma was 118th in third down defense. 118th. Guess what they are this year? 5th. 5th. They're the only team in the country that's in the top 5 in the country on third down offense efficiency and third down defense efficiency. So they're a much better team on defense than you're giving them credit for.
Sam Ehlinger go 9 of 12 on third
He might, but he's pretty good.
Well, Oklahoma's going to score by 80.
Yeah.
Texas is 126th in pass defense out of 130.
And they've got 3 defensive starters out in the secondary.
He might throw for 600.
Good. Here we go. Strike the pose.
What was that?
Yeah.
And I got a bet with Clarence Hill Jr. too.
And by the way, I don't play for the University of Oklahoma, so I'm not under Lincoln Riley's rules. So we lost the camera here. So, but I got to do this.
No, you can't do that.
I'm doing
That's
this.
bad luck.
Skip, that's not good
That's bad
luck.
luck.
It's been.
That's bad luck.
No, it's not.
Yes,
I
it is.
grew up doing this.
I have an important question
It always
for
works.
you. What makes you more nervous, watching your Cowboys or watching your Sooners?
Cowboys.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd be nervous
think-
watching those
Okay.
Cowboys, too.
I trust Oklahoma more.
Okay. We're going to end it on that note. Joel, thank you. I will see you in a couple days.
No mercy.
After the 49ers' 31-3 win on Sunday, Richard Sherman claimed that Baker Mayfield refused to shake hands pregame and called it Bush League. Yesterday, video was released that shows that Baker did shake hands with Sherman before the coin toss, but did run away following the toss, avoiding a second handshake. We're now joined by NFL Network analyst, Hall of Famer, but most importantly, a former teammate to Shannon.
Oh, man.
By the
Terrell
way,
Davis.
before you answer this question, what was he like as a teammate?
You guys are getting a full view of what Shannon was like every single day in our locker room. And I tell people, I said, that's what Shannon was. Like, he was the glue to the locker room. He was the fun guy. He was the guy that kept everything light. Yeah. We never were, we got big games, but nobody was tense because of what he brought to the locker room. He gave everybody a nickname. And if you didn't like the nickname, you're going to be in trouble.
Do you remember yours?
I know what it is, and I'm not going to tell
say
you.
it?
I'm not going to tell you. So he was that guy, but, when he left in 2000, I remembered, going into the locker room, because I would get up early, go to the locker room, because that's where the fun part was, That's where everybody was joning. That's called talking about each other. Yeah. He was the fashion police, so that if you didn't have your stuff right, you're going to get it from him. But I walked into the locker room in 2000 and remembering, this place is dead. Because he wasn't there, it didn't have the same energy, it didn't have the same environment. And when you talk about locker rooms, and they say, well, listen, the camaraderie and the energy, the chemistry, that's what they're talking about. Having a player like that, not only in the locker room, but again on the field. That's how he was really good. Worked out with Shannon a few times in the offseason, and you see the way he is right now. I remember going out to his place. I'm thinking, all right, we're going to Atlanta for 2 weeks. We're going to have a great time. Fun time. Get to his house, stay there for 2 weeks. I'm going out at night. I come back 4 o'clock in the morning. This dude is going to work out in the off season. And he never went out. I'm like, dude, can we go out? Can we go hit the town? Nah, Jew. That's you, man.
Well, he owed you because you carried him to Super Bowl, right?
Somehow I figured
I wouldn't say all that. I wouldn't say all that.
I liked hearing that. Good stories. Shannon, nothing's changed. Nicknames,
Nope.
fashion police. All right, let's go back to Handshake Gate, which I read that and I thought it was funny. Terrell, what do you make of what Sherman is saying, his comments?
All right, so when he first said it, all right, you look at it and say, all right, Baker Mayfield, I get it. People don't like him because he's a very confident young man. But that can only take you so far on this level. He hasn't done anything yet. I get that. This was conjured up. This, to me, was something that was preconceived. The locker room, they don't like Baker for a number of reasons. Yeah. Nick Bosa doesn't like him because of the thing he did on his field when he was at Ohio State. I get all that. But to just make up something before the handshake and say that I don't like him because he didn't shake my hand, and then come back and say, well, he didn't shake my hand a second time. I remember going out there and doing handshakes before the game. And guys, typically, they'll shake your hand before the coin toss.
Sure.
But then after that, guys just take off.
You gotta go.
Some guys take off. I took off.
Yeah.
Like I shook your hand once. Like I don't need to shake your hand a second
Right.
time.
Huh.
So to say that, to come back and be like, oh no, he did it the first time, but he didn't do it a second time. You're making up this kind of energy for your team, because a lot of times, you know, when you go into a locker room and it's quiet, and we used to call it false chatter.
Right.
Somebody say something, make false chatter to get the team riled up. Well, that's what this was. This was fake motivation for Baker Mayfield, because they don't like him for whatever reason. Listen, you don't have to make it up, but if it works in your locker room, you make it up. But you can't take it public and say he didn't shake my hand before the coin toss, when clearly the video shows that he did.
It's interesting.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
And that was my thing, and that was the notion that what I got from what I gathered, he didn't shake his hand, period. That he stepped, and because it made it seem like he had stepped back and he extended his hand, he didn't shake his hand. And I'm like, man, that's odd. I said, if he did that, that's some Bush League stuff. Maybe high school, you got a rivalry, you like, okay, you got the war paint on, you put the black under your eyes. You know, everybody, you like, nah, we in this warlike mentality. Excuse the analogy. It's us against you. So, and that's what I'm going by, Skip. But when I see it, I'm like, okay, he shook his hand. But what this goes back to, and TD touched on it, Richard Sherman does not like Baker Mayfield for whatever reason. Maybe it's because he doesn't feel that he's paid the NFL the respect, or some of the players the respect that it deserves. And so he had this in his mind, okay? Baker Mayfield can sense that, because if you notice, Baker Mayfield extended and dapped up everybody else except Sherman. He stood back, he's like,
and I don't think they have any relationship.
no, they don't have any. They don't have any relationship.
Okay.
But you
so
can.
he was sensing body language.
You can sense when there's a body language. And like TD can tell you, we had Raider week, and we had the Chiefs. We hated the Chiefs. But we go out for the coin toss. We gonna shake it. You gonna dap it up. But I'm trying to knock your block on. Just so you know. But so for him to conjure that up, and maybe that's what it got the 49ers where it needed to be.
Yeah, it worked. It worked.
But what I will tell you is this. Nick Bosa said something that caught my eye. It caught my ear. He says, I don't normally talk, but it was him. And that's what Baker's created for himself. By doing all this talking, he's going to cause guys to go out of their way to try to get at him. Now, all that chip on your shoulder, everybody got a chip on their shoulder to get to this level. Because you don't just get to this level by just walking in the door. You got something that deep inside to make you go that extra step. So he needs to be careful.
So this game is hard enough. And I'm going to go back to something that Shannon used to do. All right, Shannon talked a lot, and that's obvious. So I used to try to kill them with kindness. We're playing the Raiders, we're playing the Chiefs. I'm helping the guy up. I made a nice little run. I'll pick him up, pat him on his back, ask him about his mom, his sister, like that. That's my approach. Because I'm trying to keep everything low. You know, I'm trying to keep expectations low. Shannon is over there talking to everybody. So he's rounding people up. He was the Baker Mayfield in terms of people, they love Shannon off the field, but they hated him on the football field. And so now he was getting all the attention, which meant that I was getting the attention, which I didn't like. This is what Baker Mayfield has created. And you guys were talking about it earlier, about Kirk Cousins and Dak in terms of expectations. I have this thing in my mind that I talk about, and it's really it's the rope tripping you up. It's responsibility, it's obligation, pressure, and expectations. When you get money, or when you get to this level and you start to make this me, look at me type of thing, you are attracting a lot of the unwanted attention. And what comes with that is a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations, a lot of it. And it's hard to perform. This game is tough enough already. So just play this game, especially as a young player coming in. You have to try to keep that at bay as much as you can. If you can control it. Now, there's some things that are out of your control. You can't control it. It is what it is. But if you can control it, try to keep all that at bay. And that way, just do your job and let that do the talking for you.
To defend this man, you never took serious personal shots at opponents.
No.
And Baker has crossed that line a couple of times. Daniel Jones, and then the Sam Ellinger thing. It's just like beneath him.
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson.
I just could call some guys a bum on the field.
Okay.
But on the field,
on the field. No, but I'm not
than...
getting in the radio and saying I can't believe they took that guy or that guy.
Right.
So you like to use the new line, I want you to have the same energy.
Right.
I want everybody to have the same energy Richard had post-game in attacking Baker unfairly, in criticizing Richard now. Because what he did was a low blow to me. it was without class. When he calls Baker Bush League, this was Bush League.
Right.
Because you're better, Richard Sherman, than this, because you led the public to think that Baker just flat out did not shake your hand.
Right.
Yep.
And that is impugning that man's character, his football character, because that's just low. And when it came up yesterday, we were kind of prisoners of the one quote that Richard have, which we got from NFL.com. What's amazing and annoying was him not shaking hands at the beginning. Well, that's all we knew. Well, technically, he didn't shake hands a second time.
Right.
He bolted.
Right.
They had won the toss.
Right.
So he's the quarterback.
Right.
He's got stuff to do,
Right.
man.
Yep.
He's got to get ready, right?
Yeah.
And as you point out, he didn't have his helmet.
Right.
He might want to take a couple of quick throws just to make sure his arm's ready. And maybe he needs to confer with his head coach / coordinator before he runs out onto the field for a big Monday night game. You got business to tend to, right?
Right.
So it's completely unfair to condemn him for not shaking your hand.
Right.
And create a narrative post-game that tries to show the world that you, as a veteran star in this league, taught that upstart loudmouth quarterback a lesson.
Right.
Well, you taught him a lesson in the first series because you picked him.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And he was under fire, and he threw a ball to Callaway he shouldn't have thrown, and Richard, who's one of the great zone corners we've seen, he picked it.
Right.
And he was so full of himself after the game that he's taunting the media, and he's taunting Baker. And again, my take on Richard is that he had 4 lean years since his last Pro Bowl season in 2016 in Seattle, where he made his 4th Pro Bowl. And he had quite a run with the Legion of Boom, but he's had quite not a run after that.
Right.
And I think he probably sensed a little bit of his potential football mortality, like you start thinking at 31, am I ever going to be that guy again? And on the Monday night stage, you finally have a big interception, and you just go crazy after the game because you are really full of yourself again, right? You're Richard Sherman again, and you're going to show the world that you can out-talk anybody.
Right.
And the great irony to all this, to me, was that Richard originally was a Baker Mayfield. He was attacking everybody before we knew who he was.
Right.
Right?
Right.
He taunted Tom Brady on the field at Seattle.
You mad, bro?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
And that's what happens with social media. And probably if social media was not you, I probably would have been doing that.
Oh my God.
And no telling, I probably would have been doing it too. But I kept mine to the football field, so only the people that was there could hear what I was actually saying. I'm not going no public, going back and forth with you in the media. Nah, bro, you gonna see me on the field. You remember you was talking? And now I'm in the end zone. What? You ain't talking. What happened? Well, all that talk, all that noise, but you go shut Sharpe down. My thing is, Skip, is that what Baker needs to understand is, like, I could talk, but can you imagine John Elway talking like I'm talking to you? Can you imagine that? No. Man, you got people going to be trying to tear us. They're already trying to get Skip. People already want to sack Tom Brady to say, you know what? I can tell my kids, I can tell my grandkids, I sacked Tom Brady. They want to knock Baker Mayfield block off because they want to put him in his place. You got this chip. Oh, you want to dance. Oh, you want to do all this. Okay, keep that in. They telling him, keep that same energy when I come for you.
I know.
Baker Mayfield is an acquired taste. I mean, he is. Because I've interviewed him, I like him, I respect him. From the outside looking in, we all question what he was like until you get to know him. And he has a big target on his back now. He's creating that for himself.
He painted.
But he is, like you talked about it, Jenny. He is, when you meet him, and I was surprised the first time I met him. His rookie season, I met him in the offseason. And you walk away like, this guy here, that there's something infectious about him that you want to play for him.
Infectious is a good word.
Yeah, that's the way.
Odell and Jarvis just love him, obviously.
Oh yeah, he's suited. But then he comes in and sometimes like, all right, Baker, you got to know there's a line, there's a fine line, and he's crossed that line a few times.
When you were talking for the Broncos, you were talking from a position of strength because you were on a really good football team.
Yeah,
really good.
And plus, when I was talking, that means he was running. They was after me.
No,
I was like, y'all need to get him.
Seriously,
he got the ball. Y'all up here chasing me. Y'all got 2 or 3 guys trying to tackle me and push me out of bounds, and he getting 20 yards a clip.
Well, the Cleveland Browns are not a great football team.
No.
So the quarterback's going to have a hard time.
Yeah, you can't be doing a whole lot of talking when you lose it.
Yeah.
Oh, I like these old stories. Maybe we need a few more from TD. Old Shannon.
Yeah. Like the
Shannon in the locker room.
Like the time he wanted to quit because we ran 16 power 4 times in a row.
In a playoff game.
How about that?
In a playoff game. We played the Jacksonville. What did they say? Alice said, Shannon, we're going to run this play one time. Now, you got to block the end. You got the end one-on-one. You could do it one time. All them weights you lift, shit. You should be able to do it. I said, okay, I got it, Alec. We got 10 yards.
They were like, down up again.
We got 4 yards.
Down up again.
We got no yards. I said, don't run that. I walked to the side.
He was yelling at the sideline, don't run this damn play again.
That's what I did.
Oh,
we ain't running no more.
We ain't running no more.
All right.
Is that the game you lost?
No, we won that one.
Okay.
No,
Not the Jacksonville.
The one we
God.
lost, the one we lost, we didn't shake hands either because we was on the sideline on the bench, he and I. And then I just finally say, hey, bro, let's go on and take it on the end.
Okay, well, I really appreciate these. I like the insight. TD, you're going to stick around.
Yeah, absolutely.
No mercy.
The Cowboys have looked like two different teams this season. They started out 3-0, and Dak Prescott had 9 touchdowns with only 2 picks. Since then, Dallas has lost their last 2, and Dak has thrown 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in those losses. Those are the numbers, Skip. Terrell, who are the real Cowboys in your eyes?
Wow. It's hard to say because you watch them the first 3 weeks and you say the Cowboys look really good. Look really good, Skip. But then you see them the next 2 weeks. You play New Orleans, a low-scoring affair, some opportunities in that game that they didn't capitalize on. And then this week, Green Bay comes to their home. And I was shocked at how Aaron Jones was able to run the football against the Dallas Cowboys defense, which I thought was a strength of his defense. And they just completely they fell behind early, never caught up. So I'm trying to gauge who are we really seeing? Is it the last 2 weeks or the first 3 weeks? In my opinion, it's somewhere in between. I'm not trying to parse this and say, I'm not trying to cower on this answer here, but I don't know. Because when you play a team you're supposed to beat, which they did, the first 3 weeks, they beat, soundly. And that's who you're supposed to do, right? Team you're supposed to beat, you're supposed to destroy them. They did that. But then when you have better competition that you're facing and you
rise to the occasion.
Yeah, and I don't see the level of elevation that I'm expecting from the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know who that is. And you have a quarterback that has a big bright light that's on him, that's shining, that there was moments in that game where you say, here's where you can stand up. Here's where you can stand up to make that money. Now, there were some throws and some interceptions. Cooper, the one behind him, it hits your hands. You got to make that catch.
Thank you.
You got to save your quarterback.
Yeah,
there.
Shannon Sharpe.
But we also say this too, Skip, that not only seeing somebody open, it's ball location. It's location and where you put that football.
Yeah.
So if he puts it in front of him,
that's tough.
Does he catch it? Does he score?
Did that throw deserve to be intercepted?
It did not.
No.
It did not.
Thank you.
And I'm with you in terms of when I see a quarterback throw a football and it hits a receiver's hands and it goes off that person and it's intercepted, that shouldn't be on the quarterback stat sheet.
Thank you.
It shouldn't be there. However, again, accuracy matters on this level. If the ball was more accurate, so there's 2 things to it, accuracy and now Cooper has to make that catch. But the Cowboys, to me, are a team that every year they're inflated in what they can do. It's just, that's the world they live in. The world they live in. It's the Cowboys. They're inflated every year. Cowboys are going to be
thanks to him.
Either.
Thanks to him.
It has a lot to do with that. And they're inflated to win their division and be in the Super Bowl. Without even having a resume of, a lot of times it's kind of a stair-step approach, right? You see a team one year, and not that there's any carryover on this level, but sometimes you're like, all right, they have the same starting unit, really good offensive line. Offensive line was banged up this week, so I'll give you a little reprieve on that, Skip. But then you say, all right, this should equal that because you have these weapons. Before, 2 years ago, Dak didn't have the weapons he has now.
No.
And now they're saying down that he has Amari Cooper. Now he has Michael Gallup. Now he has Randall Cobb. He should be, and he's got Zeke back.
Yeah.
This offense should be explosive. And it hasn't been consistently explosive each week. And that's where I'm struggling with. Who are we seeing every week with the Dallas Cowboys? Potential is there, and that word is dangerous on this level. Potential. Anybody has potential. I just seen a very offense that hasn't been consistent and a team that hasn't been consistent as they should have been the last couple of years. So, to me, they're not even a top 10 team right now. Not even a top 10 team right now. let alone, some team that should be competing for a Super Bowl.
All right, at least that was objective. Now for the hate.
No hate.
You want the hate?
No. They are a middle of the pack team. Middle, 32 teams, they're middle of the pack.
That is going to miss the playoffs, says Shannon.
Well, we already got our cases.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, Skip. Until Dak can show he can win games without Zeke running for 1,000 yards, this is what they're going to be. Now, we've seen this. That's it. He has an opportunity Sunday to prove people like myself that has not seen him do it. Okay, I'm going to do it. They going to shut Zeke down, I'm going to do it. He has Amari. He has Gallup. He has Randall Cobb. Has Jason Witten. And what now? So you beat the 3 teams you're supposed to beat. But the combined record of those 3 teams, 2-12. So that's what you're supposed to do. You added to that 2-12 because you put losses on them. But now we come to New Orleans with old Teddy. Troubled water bridge. Yeah, that one. And then we got Aaron Rodgers with no Devontae.
Yep.
Who had just lost at home to the Eagles.
No, you got the wrong Aaron. You got Aaron Jones.
As
you pointed out correctly. It wasn't about Aaron Rodgers. It was about Aaron Jones.
So, to make a long story short, here, middle of the pack team, the best team in the NFC East are the Eagles. Your turn.
So, the real Dallas Cowboys are going to win the NFC East, and then they're going to win the NFC because I'm dug in on that, and I still believe in this team with all my heart and soul. And what I have seen is pretty much what you saw. We saw explosive offense in the first 3 games against 3 easy opponents. And then we saw at New Orleans no Michael Gallup. And we saw the offense sputter. They had chances. They did not cash on chances. And we saw the defense rise and shine and keep Teddy Bridgewater completely out of the end zone. And by the way, Teddy Bridgewater's playing at a pretty high level right now. We saw against Tampa on Saturday. Really good. He went once upon a time 11-5 as the Minnesota starter and got them to the playoffs, and he got to the Pro Bowl. So he's pretty good. So that was pretty impressive. And then all of a sudden, I saw shell shock. I still haven't quite recovered from 31-3 down late in the third quarter at home. And I don't know where my defense went because I've seen this happen where my defense didn't show up for a playoff game against Aaron Rodgers back in 2016 after they went 13-3 and had home field. And I don't know where the defense went. It didn't show. And they were down 21-3. And then guess what happened?
Where's your offense?
My quarterback said, no, not in my house. I'm not going to let this happen. And Sunday he said it again. No, not in my house. 2016 playoff game, he threw them all the way back to a 31-all tie. Sunday, he nearly got them back, and it would have been the greatest regular season comeback in history. And he was within 1 throw of that, and it was the 3rd interception. And Kevin King gets away with mugging Michael Gallup, just throwing him down basically so he couldn't turn out of his route. He did mug him. And that's another one. You just don't deserve that pick on your record. It just shouldn't count. Well, okay, you say it does because you're spewing hate. And now all the Cowboy haters have come back out of the woods because they were in hiding, and they're spewing hate from sea to shining sea. And I'm going to use your line. I want that same energy in the next few weeks because I think my team can win at the Jets.
You ain't not getting no energy from the Jets. I'm not giving you no energy. I'm going to come here all somber.
No energy there, but then the Eagles
now we talking.
Come calling, and we'll see what happens.
Now we talking.
My quarterback in the second half threw for 329 yards. It's hard when you can't throw, says the Hall of Fame.
Calories.
Can't throw, and you throw for 329 against a defense that is young, but it is really talented. And you have lost your star left tackle and your star right tackle. And those 2 Smiths, they're just firing off the edges at my quarterback. They're draped all over him every throw, and he throws for 329.
If he's what you say he is, he got to win those games. See, because what Dak did.
He almost did.
What Dak did. We get them good old workouts, work out hard. You've been training for like 2 hours. Good workout. You want to go home and get something nutritious, something that's going to fuel your body. Nice carb, nice protein, and some fats. You go home and eat 5 donuts. Empty calories. Those stats he got were empty.
How great these calories were. They were pure, high protein.
No. See what you had, Skip, what he did for you? It's good for you. It ain't good to you.
Okay, it is. Here's what happened. If my kicker hadn't missed a chip shot field goal, it was still going to come down to an onside kick, and it was a ball game at that
They
point.
got 12% of the onside last year. They got none of them this year thus far.
Now, I watched that game, and at no point did I feel like the Cowboys
We're going to win.
We're going to win that game.
Thank you.
They
It
cut
just-
it to,
it just-
wait a second. They
it just-
cut it to 31-17, and the
And
interception
even then-
happened. Okay, but if they go right down and score, and it's 31-24
like-
with 9 minutes
But that was
left,
that.
I like my
But that was-
chances.
but see what
I
happened-
like my
And I
chances.
think part of what he's saying is when you watch a game, there is a certain feeling that you have about the quarterback and the chances that he has to win that game. And I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, if they can just score right here, because they went to the fourth quarter, it was 31-17. I said, they have a shot. But I'm watching, I'm like, wait a minute. So far, the play has been erratic. There's been drops, there's been interceptions. And I was like, I don't know. Especially, and so Skip, you talk about those yards that come late in the game. That's typical how it works out in games, right?
I don't know.
The team, well, no, it is because when the team is
3:20,
behind,
right?
yeah, because you know what? It's all gas at that point.
Okay.
It's all gas. They're fighting so hard to come
Green
back.
Bay
They're
did not
throwing.
back off. They played man across the ball.
Joe, I don't even want no yards like that.
No.
I used to tell them white mine from the stat. If we behind by 25 points and I end up with 180, I said, I don't even want them.
Yeah,
I don't want them yards, them old cheap yards, them
memorize
old
them
jump
forever.
yards.
I'll take them yards, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll take him.
I want my yards in meaningful
Give me them
time.
yards.
Okay,
Yeah.
only the good ones. TD, thank you for
Oh, no,
joining
thank you
us.
for having me.
It was a good time.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us.
No mercy.
Clutch Sports agent Rich Paul may have taken an unintended shot at Giannis Antetokounmpo when discussing how great his client Anthony Davis is. Paul was praising AD's passing ability and compared him to Giannis, saying, quote, if you put Anthony Davis on the Bucks team last year, they'd be playing in the finals. Kind of harsh there. Shannon, do you agree?
Well, Skip, I went back and forth with this. I was like, man, I don't know about that. But then I started thinking, what limited the Bucks? What limited Giannis was his inability to shoot the ball from outside. What sets Anthony Davis apart from most bigs in the NBA? His ability to shoot the ball from outside. So I'm going to have to agree with Rich Paul on this one. Skip, before this debacle, if you want to call it that, the trade that didn't happen, that was supposed to happen, that may have happened, Anthony Davis was averaging 29 points, 13 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, 4 assists. Giannis ended the season averaging 28 points, 12.5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.5 blocks. But it's Anthony Davis's ability to shoot the ball from outside that separates him from Giannis. Giannis has not quite developed a consistent jumper, be it from the three or from outside. What Toronto did was that we built a wall, we're not letting you in the lane.
Yep.
If you can dunk from the three-point line or from half court, so be it. But you're not going to get the Euro step and get in the paint and lay it up and dunk, or we have to foul you. That's not going to happen. And once they started pushing him out further and further, making him shoot jumpers, making him settle for the three, you saw what happened. Skip, I don't know if people remember just how dominant AD was when they played Portland 2 years ago. There is no shame in losing to a healthy, fully loaded Golden State. And that's what AD has lost to in the Western Conference. Now, he's only been to the playoffs twice, but both times he's run up against Golden State. Losing to Golden State, there's no shame in that. And losing to Golden State with KD at full strength, Steph, Clay, and Draymond, there's no slouch. So I'm going to have to agree with Rich Paul on this one. It's only because I believe AD is a better player from the outside and can get shots better than Giannis can.
So here's my bottom line to everything you just said. It's impossible for me to disagree with Rich Paul because I don't know yet. I need to see yet now. Giannis got exposed at the highest level because he couldn't shoot it. And I've always questioned, does he have that killer in him? Is he that guy? What I love the most about the NBA playoffs, they either expose or exaggerate whether you're that guy or not. Michael Jordan was the guy. Kevin Durant has proven to be that guy.
Right.
And yet, Giannis, I'm not sure about.
And most, not to cut you off, but most guys, when you look at their scoring average, if you're that guy, it elevates in the playoffs.
It does.
Michael Jordan's scoring average is higher in the postseason than it is in the regular season.
Yeah. Can
So
you
is
make
Kobe's.
the basket at the moment?
Yeah.
That's what happens in the NBA playoffs. I don't know yet about Anthony because Regular season, he was way below 500, 216 to 250 losses in New Orleans. 2 playoff appearances, had 1 big series against 2 guys in Portland who are not that guy to me, Dame and CJ. And yet, running up against Golden State, he put up some good numbers against Golden State, but they had no chance.
No.
So I don't know yet. Guess where he plays now? He is LeBron James' sidekick at Staples Center in Los Angeles, California, Hollywood. And the brightest lights in the league are going to be on Anthony Davis. Are you made of that stuff? I don't know yet. I have my doubts about it, but for Rich Paul to say that, I don't know. Is it a shot at Giannis? It's really just trying to build up his own client. But again, maybe he could have.
Maybe. Yeah. But the thing is, let's not discount what Kawhi in Toronto. They got going at the right time. They got a lot of times, Skip, it's not so much you get hot at the right time.
I know, and they were getting big contribution from Van Vliet and Siakam.
Kyle Lowry all of a sudden started hitting shots. Like you said, Siakam have a game or 2 where he go for 30, and then boom.
No mercy.
Guys, it finally happened. Ben Simmons made his first NBA three-pointer last night. Simmons was previously 0 for 19 from beyond the arc in preseason, regular season, and postseason games. Shannon, were you impressed?
Skip, I'm glad he made it, but I wasn't impressed for the simple fact it was late in the shot clock, and all the threes that he normally attempts, late in the shot clock, end of half, end of quarter, end of the half. I want him to see him take a 3 in regulation, 15, 10 seconds. So once I see him do that, but it's nice to see, Skip, that looked good. It looked like a rhythm. It didn't look like a Markelle Fultz shot. That looked like a good 3. And if he can get that, Skip, he ain't even got to be good from 3, but if he can hit an outside shot, somebody's going to be in trouble with this young man.
That's why I was impressed. That looked smooth. It looked pure. It looked right.
Yes.
It looked like repeatable, right? It looked like we might see some of that again from him.
I hope so.
Again, I would like to see a little mid-range jump shot, and that was more of a nice, sweet set shot.
And that's the thing, Skip. If he can get a 15 to 18-foot shot at 6'10" with his ability to get to the basket,
game over.
It's over.
No,
it's over.
Yeah, and again, I would like to see him make 15-foot free throws. Occasionally, you know, he makes about 60% of those.
And that what happened when Magic Johnson developed that little push.
I know, that's all it was.
LeBron James, once he got good at shooting that, when it was over, he became the GOAT.
Really?
He became the GOAT. That's how you got GOAT James.
That's what it was.
GOAT James.
Says only one man in the world.
A lot of people say that.
I've heard it here before.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.